Welcome to the Coach V Show, your Hollywood Santa Monica personal development show right here in Island City's Famecast Studios, where the beach meets the streets, and here on the show where iron sharpens iron, together we rise. Today we are super juiced and honored to have one of the best in the world, if not the best MC who has revolutionized the game, not only for Polynesians, but for entertainment in general. A Bay Area native from San Francisco. If you have not seen him at a festival, you will know. But if you have, you already know the sounds of him with his DJ Westafa getting down on stage, and has brought a brand new meaning to crowd control and entertainment. The difference maker in any show that he is a part of. We have the Big Body Cisco now, who is located in Viva Las Vegas, in the building. Give it up for Big Body Cisco.
Thank you for having me, Coach. Thank you for having me.
Come on, man. Hey, look, for a guy, you guys started radio, the Big Body Show, the barbecue show.
Yeah, man, that's family right there.
Back in 2010, 11,
Yeah.
12-ish. Right?
Yeah.
And then now to get to where it is that you are today, to not only have the notoriety, but getting paid. Yeah. Talk to us about the journey.
It's a blessing, and it's a journey, to say the least. I mean, it wasn't easy. I mean, with anything, we talked about barbecue show, shout out my brother Q, shout out, everyone that's been a part of it since the beginning, but it's a vision that we all had, just like you as well. I think it's something that we had that nobody else, it was a void for it in our market, especially in our Polynesian demographic. So I kind of just took it as, I was always a fan of radio, listening to my favorite jocks from LA to the Bay, and listening to them. I never heard any of us on the radio. So at the time, it was luckily that's when terrestrial radio came, and when you could be on internet radio. So, I had my opportunity to be on mainstream radio, but I didn't take that route because I didn't want to have to play what they wanted me to play. So, I'm a rebel. So, I want to do what I want to do. I want to be my own boss.
I never felt that from you. I never felt that from you.
So if you don't know, now you know, but I don't really my parents told me what to do in my life. So I just stopped at that. So when it got to picking what my career would be, I was a music buff. I'm a music aficionado. I always loved music. And, to kind of just say, look, I feel like I have a good feel for the music. Let me try to mix some of our island artists along with mainstream artists. And that came the birth of Big Body Radio. And ever since then, we've been doing music shows from Twitch, from all over now to Western Conference podcast, but it's evolved since we first started. I mean, Q could tell you from barbecue show and from Big Body Radio days, we done came a long way.
Yeah, a long way.
Long journey.
And then, so talk to us about where it all started. So I know some of the legends of Long Beach, Strong Beach, Frisco Bay Area, now Viva Las Vegas. Talk us through that journey.
Long Beach was home for us. Silverado Park, we stayed with my mom and dad in a little apartment out there. But, gang culture is obviously there. So when the gang culture was there, my parents took it upon themselves to kind of say, let's move us out of Long Beach. And we came to the Bay Area. My mom and dad got a good job in the Bay Area. We transplanted over to the Bay. And that's where I grew up and threw up at. And that's where you kind of like, so when I go on stage and I represent the Bay Area, all my Long Beach family was like, oh, you're from Long Beach. But I was like, nah, that's where I went to high school. That's where I went to college and did my thing in San Francisco. So the love for everything happened there. When I was in Long Beach, it was always a family-oriented thing, as Polynesians are. And the journey from there just took us from Long Beach to San Francisco, and grew up and threw up all the years there. And then finally made the move. This is kind of a fast-forward version to Vegas, where I took a chance on myself. I'm a Bay Area kid and was like, nah.
Say that. You took a what?
I took a chance on myself because people they're complacent in where they're at. You're going to represent the hood till you die. And it's I didn't want to be that. And I didn't want to be in the Bay Area. And I felt like I've done everything, professional-wise in the entertainment industry in the Bay Area. And I felt like there was still more. Like my roof wasn't, tapped out. So Vegas came about, and I moved there in 2020, right after the pandemic. I mean, I moved there when the Strip, it was all shut down. And kind of seeing that, I took that as my point of life to restart. Like the Strip was my life. Like the Strip was like, that's where you go party. That's where you go do all these things. And it stopped. And now I went to kind of reevaluate my life at that time and say, I'm in a good position where Las Vegas is the entertainment capital of the world. And we're in the entertainment industry. Why not take a chance and, go all in on yourself and go move to Vegas? So I've been there ever since, and I never look back.
Family is such an integral part of us as Polynesians, but I think all good people are rooted that way.
Yeah.
Introduce us to your mom and dad and your siblings if you want to.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that? Introduce your parents like that?
It's crazy. Well, I've actually had my mom on my podcast.
Okay.
So having my mom and kind of have them a big part of my thing. I mean, you know, Pops raised us with an iron fist. And I think that helped me raising my kids and, you know, kind of raising my eyebrow to my career and kind of saying, you know, there's things have to be structured. You know, you put your twist on it nowadays and you kind of say, what my dad did wasn't always the way I wanted to do it. So I just took what my dad instilled in me and kind of put my little twist on it. And I think it's raised me the right way and raised my kids the right way. So it comes back because my parents are my life. You know, I'm fortunate to still have both of them with me. They live in Utah right now. My mom, Helen, my dad, Sai, you know, my Lutu and Lafiti side were real, you know, prideful of my family. And when I have my siblings as well, and my brother that grew up in Samoa, he's in Samoa. You know, everyone has that story about the kid that went to Samoa and never came back to the States.
Yeah.
And that happened in my family. My brother, Carl, he lives out there, Schuster, and he was raised in Samoa. So he was raised the Fa Samoa way, we was raised the Cali way, if that makes sense. So there's a huge, you know, gap in between, you know, polys that are raised in the islands and polys that are raised in the mainland, where I just kind of wanted to say, look, when I go to Samoa, I don't want to be like the Selena when she comes over there, she don't speak the language and you know, everyone's looking around. So because we get frowned upon, especially when, oh, you don't speak your language. No, we were raised with English as a first language. So being that, my parents wanted to raise us with English as a first language because they knew that was going to be a part of our career. We was going to have to do everything in English. So not a fault to them. When you get older, you kind of wish you knew your native tongue a little bit more fluently. I mean, I know how to yell that. I know all the major words. I know amenes and all that stuff too. But other than that, it was something that I take pride in my culture as well, where you know, just because I don't speak it fluently doesn't mean I don't represent it to the fullest. So, you know, just family was everything. I'm family oriented, and, you know, our Polynesian side where I have 5 kids, 4 different baby mamas, but that's neither here nor there.
No, we don't need to go there on this show.
As
That's
long
a
as I
different
take
show.
care of my kids, we're going to be all right. But blessed to have kids, now grandkids, and, you know, I'm doing it for the legacy for them. So kind of want my kids to grow up and say, you know, my dad actually did something while he was here on earth. And that's something that nothing away from my dad where he instilled the values in me, but I want to instill in my kids where I leave a legacy when, you know, they can see my podcast when I'm gone. They can see the kind of body of work that I did while I was here.
Talk about the athletic career that you had in sports and how that has become integrated. What seems to me a sports guy, a football guy, is how you attack, how you speak.
Yeah.
You're prepared. You go with intensity. You know when to tone it down. You know when it's appropriate. Talk about athletics and how it's really impacted your life.
I think especially with Polynesians, I mean, athletics is a kind of a pinnacle of how we structure our lives as far as going, you know, how we go about things. I was the rah-rah guy. I was trying to get everybody going. So, you know, football and sports, when growing up for me, it was kind of a thing where in high school, I was like 110 pounds. I was a receiver. So, you know, when I got
I couldn't tell. Come on,
you receiver days.
You
I
look
run
like
a quick little post route.
Our Niners look like they need you on the offensive line, but you were a skilled guy. I didn't know that.
No, I was a skilled guy in high school, and then my poly kicked in right after high school. And then I went to San Francisco City College, and you know, I started playing football there. And San Francisco City College at the time was the number one JC program, and it was for a long time.
What years was that?
That was '97 when I played over there. So we were killing in the '90s. But when I kind of got out of that, I had my first son, and there was the fork. You go take care of your son, or you go play football. Selfishly, I'm not gonna lie to everybody. I chose to go football route, but my parents, my coaches, you better go take care of this kid. So doing that, I mean, it's nothing I don't regret about that at all. You know, I always try to tell my sons, they're like, Dad, you think if you would have been in the league? I lied to them and said I would have been in the league. Ain't no way in hell I would have been in the league. But I love football, dear.
Yeah.
But, you know, you want your kids to kind of believe that, like, oh, maybe Pops would have did that if, you know, he didn't sacrifice what he had to sacrifice for us. But it was something that I was willing to do for my kids. And, you know, I've raised my kids my whole life, and raising their kids now is something that I'm a part of now.
So welcome now to the version of Island City's Sports Center, where we're now talking 49er talk.
Come on.
We're 2 49er fans here. We were absolutely freaking let down, up by multiple touchdowns in multiple games last year, and we didn't even make the freaking playoffs. What's the state of Niner Nation? We've lost so many. Hey, shout out Hufanga. Shout out to all the guys that have gotten paid for the Niners. You and I follow this because we are diehard and also miserable Niner fans currently, right? Talk about what's going on in Niner Nation and your perspective of where we are going into the draft and how we're going to look. What's your thoughts?
I mean, I believe in Lynch and what he's doing with the program. I think he's a football guy. I think everyone's trying to say, oh, get rid of Lynch, get rid of Shanahan. If you don't know football, you really don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So when we got rid of Hufanga, we got rid of the people that we did. I don't think we was going to pay Hufanga what he got paid, which happened for you, brother. I don't know, go get your money.
Bag.
Yeah.
Denver. Yes.
And Greenlaw was getting his bag. So, like, even like kids like Aaron Banks, the guard, he got so much money. So it's a business at the end of the day. And I think, I don't think we're in a rebuild. I think the draft, we got 11 picks in this draft.
Yes.
And I think that we're going to do some things with that. And, like I said, we bet with our heart and we always cheer with our hearts. Like, I can't stand the Raiders because Q's over here giving us a thumbs down, but it's always a friendly rival between what we do.
And Green with his Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah.
But we're passionate about our Niners. Like, I've had icons be my friend, like Jesse Sapolu. Having him.
Shout out Big Bro
Jesse.
Jesse.
Out Big Jesse and what he's doing with the Polynesian football. And just with Talanoa, like, I had Talanoa as a guest on my podcast, and I actually took him to Vegas for the first time to Dresden, kind of building that relationship with them and then kind of seeing them have to transition to the business of football. And saying he has to go to, I hit him the day after he got signed with the Broncos. I was like, man, good luck to you. At least you got that bag. He was like, right on. But I was like, I ain't going to wear no Broncos jersey. But I congratulate you because, you got to take care of the family at the end of the day. But I think people are going to be surprised at what the Niners move this year. I don't think they're going to be as bad as they think that we're going to be. I think Lynch and Shanahan's going to do some things, move some things around in the draft, and have a decent team to actually, try to go for the NFC West title.
Very good. If Dak Prescott makes $60 million a year.
Come on.
Right, what should Brock Purdy, what's the range that we think here on Polynesian Sports Center, Island City, what's the range we should be looking at for Brock?
Well, you just said it, the range. You have to be within the range of what everybody else is getting paid. Right. And I think the luxury that Brock has is he has the kind of things what Dak's getting paid with Burrow and all these other quarterbacks. So you kind of have your agent, got your work cut out for you, right? Hey, these guys are getting paid this. And I think, Shanahan taking a chance on, Purdy instead of Lance, it has to pan out now. So I think he's going to be worth the money. I think the franchise is going to be our guy, apparently. So we have Mac Jones now. So I think that's going to put a little fire under his butt and to kind of steady get things going. But Brock Purdy's the guy for us right now. And I think he's going to get paid in the range of Dak, but I don't think he's going to surpass Dak. That's just my opinion.
No, I love that. So the Sports Center and Fox Sports West, this is the Polynesian part where we bring in, we're not just talking football, we talking details with experience.
And know what we're talking about. I see a lot of these shows that they be like, oh man, my team's doing this. They can't name 3 players on their team.
That's right.
So there's a little credibility issues what we got going on because we actually, are passionate about our team and, we know the game of football and we know the X's and the O's as well. So I think that goes more of a long way as a fan because we see it in a different light than, fans that haven't played football see it.
Yeah. And so I was in San Bruno as a 3rd grader when Joe Montana and them won the Super Bowl at Stanford Stadium. And that was the first game I ever watched. Yeah. And so I've been hooked ever since.
We've been spoiled. We've been spoiled from the 80s and 90s and something like we're accustomed to winning.
Yes.
Like that's our attitude. As opposed to the Raiders, they're accustomed to losing.
Talk about the smack talk.
It goes deep.
Because you're so good at that, and you don't hold back, right?
No, absolutely
And you
not.
mentioned it off air how it is. I mean, drama and saying some shit off the top of your head, and you really feel like that. And being authentic. Talk about the jabs that you and the Raider fans and all that. Talk through that.
It goes deep, Coach. It goes deep where, I have Fiji calling like that was a little deep. that one hurt a little bit. And I'll put, their faces with Fiji with the eye patch on. I'll put Q in there. But, I want to down all the Raider fans, because when something bad happens to us, they're the loudest ones.
Oh, yeah.
When something happens to them, we're the loudest ones. It's a friendly competition that goes unfriendly sometimes because I like to go for the jugular. So I'll kind of just go to the white meat when I talk about the other teams. But I think it's a friendly thing because we can always talk about it where if I'm in New Zealand, you got Lappy Mariner. Say, man, stop talking about my Raiders. And just talking about that, like we're overseas in New Zealand and we're talking about this rivalry. So I think it's a good, friendly, fun competition. But there is those Texans like, I was a little deep.
That's real. That's real. And you talk some good shit on Instagram, boy. Talk about this because you're in both realms and you get traction on social media on your opinion and perspective, both in the entertainment world and then also in the sports world.
Yeah.
And how influential those two aspects of our culture as a humanity, and it's worldwide. Talk about that and why you're always tapping into that.
I think it's the authenticity of being passionate about what I'm posting and what I'm talking about. Like I think I don't want to fake it to people and be like, oh, I'm fake cheering for my team. I'm fake putting up an inspirational quote. I actually do these things for myself. And when they resonate to the social media realm of it, it kind of resonates with the audience that are reading those things and seeing those things that we're putting out there. So if I'm not, genuine to it myself, why should I put it out? So I think that's the divide between me saying, okay, that's not going to resonate because I don't feel it.
Yeah,
so
that's
when
right.
I put my morning message out, I'm doing that for myself. That's how I try to motivate myself.
Oh, that's real.
Set
Me
the tone
too.
for myself. So when it resonates with somebody, like, man, I'll get DMs all day, like, I needed that, or that got me out of a hole, or, I'll go to do a show and there's people come, hey, your morning message got us through some tough times. I don't do it for those, for those people to do. I do it for myself. If it happens to reach that audience and it does something good, by all means, I mean, that's God right there. But at the end of the day, it's like, it goes back to credibility. Everything I post, every joke that I post, it's something that I would genuinely laugh at.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
But then now you have to be kind of like cautious of what you post nowadays. I don't realize how many people and what people are watching me, from kids to grandmas to aunties to. So at first it just figures. I feel like it was me and the guys,
right?
Like it was just the guys watching it. But then when you got like my 10-year-old son was like, Dad, I don't think that was funny on there. I was like, you're right. So I gotta be more. I gotta kind of mind myself and be like, okay, I can't do like the vulgar stuff that I used to do. Mm-hmm. And now with a brand, when you build a brand, that stuff can come back to haunt you. So when you kind of have like kids, I tell you all the time, social media is your resume. And if your resume has holes in it and has spots of things that you're dealing with, it's resonate to the whole world to kind of say they went with you. It's crazy how you talk to a girl or talk to a guy now on social media where they can use it for the right and use it for the wrong.
Yeah.
But we used to write letters and fold it up in our origami and give it to a girl. These guys send a DM and they know these people.
Yeah.
So it goes back to that where a lot of genuine and authenticity of what I post and what I want to be portrayed at as my social media is what I try to get along with me and say, okay, that was cool to do. I would laugh at it. I would kind of resonate with that, and that's when I put it out to the public.
Yeah, no, that's real. I have been very excited for this interview because of the fact that I feel like you're a master at a few different things at a minimum. But one of the things that I marvel at, because I teach corporate companies that effective communication is the sending and or receiving information in the way that it was intended.
Yes.
And that you could try to create buy-in, but I would go, which is what I've seen high performers do, is they win hearts and minds. And they're about connection. Does that anywhere in the realm, and I don't know if you put a framework in it in terms of teaching it in a framework, or this is what I do, because I am very interested in, and so you said it, it's like being real, being authentic. What else would you add when I say, hey, this is what effective communication is to me, winning hearts and minds and making sure that you build connections. And lastly, there's money in the transaction, but the wealth is in the relationship.
Absolutely.
Your thoughts?
It's all about going back. I genuinely love what I do for a living. When I say I genuinely love what I do for a living, I try to resonate with the crowd when I do these when I'm emceeing these shows. I want people to kind of look at me. I want them to have a good time. So when I see a certain part of the crowd that's not having a good time, I already know everybody else is having a good time. My focus is on the people that's not having a good time. Why is this person not having a good time? Hey, how come you're not smiling? There could be 10,000 people are there, but you see these faces. I mean, we can attest to it when you're an MC. The faces that are not smiling and not having a good time, those are the ones that kind of hit you like a dart. So when that hits me, I'm looking around, hey, Westafa, we need to play this song to get this, because now I'm guessing. So you have this old white dude, man, just hurry up and bring the act up. They'll be talking too. Just hurry up that. So I'll kind of see what it is. I don't know if I'm, I'm not saying I'm not going to get profiling them, but I'm saying, okay, Wes, throw on this song. So we'll do something like, some old rock song. When I do that, he'll have a good time. Now his energy resonates with everybody around him. Now it kind of is a ripple effect for the whole crowd. I got everybody else. They ain't going nowhere. Because I know what they like. They like the music we're already playing. It's the little few that don't know what we're doing. The one that just came to see the one act and weren't ready to go home. Those are the ones I try to entertain, and I love doing that. Like when I DJ weddings, when I do private events, I always look for the table who's not having a good time,
not engaging.
Oh man, tell this dude hurry up, because I hear the talking. Because I don't know why it's so loud over here, but it'll be somebody mumbling something negative, and I'll hear that like they're saying it in my ear. Man, this dude's whack. I'll hear that. So me, for my pride and ego of what I do for a living, I need to prove that person wrong. So I need to go and say, Westafa, we need to play 1, 2, and 3, and if 2 don't work, make sure we hit them with 3. So me and him have a connection to where music is universal language. So if they don't like what I'm saying, I can talk to them through music. So if I play their song, if I say, oh, what are you drinking, sir? Oh, we're drinking wine. Hurry up. We'll throw on red wine from UB40. Everyone goes into things, and it's like, okay, now I'm having fun. So that's why it's genuinely a love for what I do for a living. To see the joy on these kids' face, to see the joy on older, middle-aged, young kids. Because remember, it's a hard job when you're on stage. You got to cater to so many demographics.
Yeah, that's real.
Filipinos, black, whites, Mexicans, everything. You got every nationality. You got every age groups. So how I'm going to make sure everybody has a good time. And that goes through research where I walk through the crowd when I'm not on stage. Okay, cool, I need to talk about over here. Hey, Wes, look at over here. There's a little older crowd over here, so let's kind of like do something for them. And I think we've done that so many times that it just comes off naturally for us.
Yes, it does.
But there's a lot of methods of the madness. We actually go backstage and it's like, hey, we need to play this set of songs to try to get this reaction for these people before this act. If we know we're going on before like a Bug, we're going before a Comic Kings, we want to set the crowd up for that performance coming up. It's different than setting up for an Ellie Mack or an Anu Hea because you kind of got to cater to the women. Now you kind of just shifting your whole thing. Everyone just think, oh, anybody can DJ and anybody can MC
That's
a
right.
show.
That's right.
Oh, my uncle does the same thing.
That's right.
Your uncle don't get down like me. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's not into a thing to kind of say I'm better than you. It's to a thing where year in and year out, we have a good time. If you don't have a good time when me and Westafa's on stage, we're doing something wrong and we're doing you a disservice as a crowd. You paid your money to come out with it. You could watch people do wires for that 30 minutes before the next act. But we said, no, we want to have a good time, play music, and have a seamless transition into the next act. And it's just going for like, we're talking about 8-hour festivals. And we're doing this 8 hours a day where we're transitioning between act to act. And I think we've got it down to a thing where, but now that crowd that we kind of resonated with, they're getting older now. Now the kids are getting older. Now I don't know what the kids are listening to. So now I got to do my homework. Hey, what's this sexy red? Now I feel like the old dude. What is this? Like, what's the music your kids are listening to now? Now I feel that. But now I gotta say, let me play that one song and go from there and see how they react to it. Because you got to get the old folks and the young kids all on the same page.
No, that's real. That's real. And in speaking, the best speakers in the corporate world, which I'm a part of, they build connection, but really they meet people where they are.
Yeah.
As you say that, that's what I think of. And then also when you're talking about, even though you're a professional, so that other people understand this. No, not everybody could do this. It's not as easy as it looks and seamless, right? And then the term always comes to mind from my boy Sugar Free, us Pomona guys, right? If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
Tell them.
Like preparation in speaking, if you would just prepare beforehand, have a script that you could deviate.
Yeah.
But here's the list of songs, Westafa. Like, I saw you do it at the Holo Holo Festival in Sacramento, where, like, you just did a leg movement and he did an right? And then you guys just had, like, so talk about that. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And even though it looks seamless, we're going to meet people where they are, but we are professionals. That means we could do this as second nature. Your thoughts?
It goes to, like, people like see me and Westafa. They think it's so seamless between me and Westafa. You guys don't see the fights I'm having in his ear. I don't want that song. Oh, this song ain't gonna work, but we can't let the crowd see it because they see us.
Like marriage.
Yes, so they can't see
romantic relationships.
So it all falls on, like, trust me, them moves with the legs, I feel them the next day. But I feel like that little extra little oomph for them tries to get the crowd like, man, Cisco didn't have to do that. He's 6'5", 300 pounds. He didn't have to go jump around like that. But I did, just for y'all, just to let y'all know that I did that for y'all. But to have that cohesion with Westafa, him knowing what I'm going to do, him, if we don't have a monitor next to him where you can't hear my mic, we have to be in eye contact, like, oh, do this one. Okay, cool. We do it so seamlessly where I don't want to keep going, hey, we got to play this song, hey, we got to do that song. We've done it enough times. He'll say, hey, old school. All right, cool. I'll sit there and do our old school thing. Hey, new school. All right, cool. So that cohesion, I think, gets respected from people who know the game. Hey, Cisco and them, there's a lot to it more than you just think, oh, they're just playing a bunch of songs. Yeah, we try to be, man.
No, you are. You are. You get paid that way. The crowd reacts that way. I was in the crowd. And you were like, say this. And I'm sitting there drinking. And I'm like, and my kids are like, what are you doing? I'm engaging. I'm engaged. We got in for free because of Island City, but I'm still going to engage like I paid money to get up in here.
And engagement is key because I think engagement, you're not going to get it all the time.
Right.
So I think as an MC, I think a key component for me is speaking clear and letting every word be known and every word be heard. Because I think a lot of these guys go up there, they mumble, and they're like, oh, if you hear what I'm saying, you can resonate with what I'm saying. So I make sure that I speak clearly, and people are always, MCs that come to me, say, hey, what's your thing? I was like, make sure they understand what you're saying. If they don't understand what I'm saying, then I look like I'm just mumbling, like mumble rap, like that stuff. I look like I'm one of the mumble rappers. But because I speak clearly and because I don't want to have a hiccup. You know, I'm a perfectionist in a part where if we're doing a podcast or we're doing something, I'll cut and say, hey, I want to do it right because I want it to flow off a little bit better than what it did on the first take before that. But I try to be one take Jake every time because in the business that we're in, we kind of have to do it in one take. We don't get those second takes and third takes. We have to do it on the fly, and we have to make sure that we do it on point every time.
Very good. And that's what the best athletic coaches do in the world. They cite the problem, give the solution, and encourage.
Yeah.
All in one phrase. So lastly here, as we close up, let's talk about if Big Body Cisco had a message for the world as we close off here, what would that message be? And go ahead. You got the camera right there.
This message throughout, and I always say, never settle. Never settle for less, because I always feel like people are complacent in where they're at. There's always more to it. And I was thinking, if you don't go and see what your top is, you're never going to see the top of the mountain. So never settle for less, because if you settle for less, I don't want you to be in that box 6 feet deep and be like, man, I should have went for more. And that's the only time. I mean, I don't try to be the rah-rah guy and try to just get everybody, but that resonates with one kid over there saying, no, I'm not going to settle for less. Because some of you ladies are going to take, now I'm going to settle for this man. I'm not talking about that. I'm not, but that too. You ain't got to settle for it. At the end of the day, if you settle for less, you're going to get less. So always have more for yourself going forward.
Very good. I love that. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Coach V Show. And this is your Success Coaches Final, as we have one of the best in the world doing what he does as an MC is this. The box you've outgrown. Look past the walls, open the drapes. Dare to peer out and plan your escapes. From that box that you're standing so still and so meek, dare to reach out and have a sneak peek of what just might be, of what you still dream, that eluded you and deludes you but gives you your steam. That hopes and dreams, they may have gone because they're not in this box, so it's scary, it seems. But now is the time that just because that box feels scary, let's jump out of the box like my boy Cisco says, and never, ever settle. Your boy Cisco, your boy Coach V, here on the Coach V Show, where iron sharpens iron. Together we rise. Shout out to Island City, where the beach meets the streets. Choo-hoo!